Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we're looking at the D-Art Mega Man X Zero Type 1. I already reviewed the Type 2, and you can see these guys in a comparison video that I'm going to be uploading soon. But for now, just look at the Type 1, which is still a cool figure, even though the Type 2 I think is probably a little cooler. This one definitely has some of its own good qualities. He stands about 5.5 inches tall. Comes with a decent batch of accessories. He doesn't have the sword or the saber or whatever it's called, I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the Mega Man line, I've just always liked the character design, or Mega Man games, I mean. So I don't know what the sword is called, but he doesn't have it. As far as effect accessories or effect parts, all he has is this blast effect, which is kind of cool, and they kind of screwed it up at the same time. I like the shape of it. It does have the removable wave, I guess you could call that. And obviously it does peg into his weapon just fine, but it's nice translucent blue, but they have this like milky wash on it, and it's way heavy on this side, and it doesn't look that good. I hope you can tell what I'm talking about. It would be really nice. It's a really nice translucent blue with a little cat hair on it, but the milky wash on this side really destroys the way it looks. And like I said, it can peg into the blaster, which we can go ahead and talk now. It has the removable front piece. One has the gem in it, one does not. When you put this one on, you can put the blast effect on. So let's do that. And then that just pegs in right there. So he's got the blast effect. And if you don't want the wave, like I said, that just comes off, and you can use that. Or you can just put that on like a little stand if you have one. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. Alright, let's put the one with the gem back in because I like the way it looks better. And if you don't want to have the buster on his arm, you do have an interchangeable arm piece, which is the same as this side, but for this side, and those just pop on and off, and you have a fist hand for that arm as well, so you have two fist hands. Then we have a total of 3 sets of hands, the 2 fists, then we have 2 open hands, which are good. I need to clean off some of that. I bought this guy used, so he's not in the 100% perfect mint condition that I would prefer, but oftentimes when you have little marks like that, hopefully you can see that, you can just use a magic rub eraser, just a white eraser, and those will come off. So I'll fix that later. But he's got the 2 open hands, which are good for doing like the buster shots. Then he has these 2 hands, which look like sword holding hands, which he doesn't have a sword, obviously, like I said. So I guess they're just thumbs up hands, or thumbs down hands, either way. They're just a little awkward, and I'm not sure why they were included originally other than for the thumbs up and thumbs down, but they definitely look like they were made for the sword, and I'm pretty sure they're the same sculpt as the hands for Zero Type 2, which actually does come with the sword, so it's a little curious. I'm not sure what was going on with that thought process. He also has a total of 3 different faces. This is the teeth gritted, angry, I'm unhappy face, which is probably my favorite. I do like that one. Then he has the normal face. Not too much emotion on there at all. Of course, the paintwork on the eyes is really nice. And then he has the normal face where he's looking off to the side. Maybe he's thinking about what he's going to have for lunch that day. Something along those lines. And all you do to change those, let's see if I remember. I just got this guy and I don't remember 100%. Yep, there we go. It just pops off. Best to grab onto the little Wolverine earpieces right there. Then you can pop the face out, hopefully. And it doesn't want to come out, but you just pull the face out through the back. There we go. And then the new face just slides right in over that little peg. You see that? Put that over that. Face goes in, head goes back on. I'll put the head back on in a second. For now, I wanted to show you the head articulation while we have it open. Why not? So there's a ball hinge on top of the neck that the head obviously can look up and down on. Now, the thing that bothers me about this guy, and it's kind of good and kind of bad, is the way the ponytail works. It doesn't move with the head. It's connected to the stationary part of the ball joint, so it doesn't move up and down, as far as I know. Yeah, I don't think it can. So it's stuck in one position, which is good because it's way too heavy for the head to hold anyway. So if it leaned up with the head and it was sticking up like this, the figure would just fall over for sure. So it's good in that regard, but the problem is it's way too heavy anyway, and it's really loose at this joint, which is just a pivot. So it's way too heavy, and it's really hard to balance the figure with that hair, so it's kind of a problem anyway. But back to the head articulation. So it's got the ball hinge there, and of course it can rotate on top of the neck, and the neck is on top of just an old school standard ball peg. So pretty good range of motion for the head. I can show you a little better with this part on. Really, you can move the head any way you want to do, any way you want to. The only thing you have to worry about is the ponytail being in the way, which is common for the zero figures. Even the Type 2 has the same problem. So there's not much you can do to get around that. For the shoulders, old school ball peg in the torso, so the whole arm just moves around that way, and then this itself is a ball hinge, just like Marvel Legends or DCUC. No problem there, good range of motion. He does not have the moving shoulder pads like Type 2, which actually I think looks pretty good on this guy. The shoulder pads look cool, but these actually look pretty good as well. You have decent paint work on there as well. He's got the bicep swivel just under that silver trim on the ball for the shoulder. Double jointed elbow with the cup on it, just like the other Mega Man figures. All of the arms are interchangeable with other Mega Man figures, just like Mega Man and X and Ultimate X and whatever else, Armored X. And then the hands just go on a standard ball peg. Actually, it's a double ball peg. It's a barbell. So there's a ball on each end. So that's pretty cool. The torso is, now I'm not sure on this because I haven't opened it, but it's at least a single ball peg. Could be a double. So you have the full diaphragm joint on this one. Doesn't have the greatest range of motion, but it does go side to side. It does go forward and back, and it does rotate. And then the same is true for the abdomen or the lower torso, which has an even greater range of motion. So really, you're going to get enough of, or you could just pop the head off. That works too. But that shows you the ball peg for the neck anyway. So either way, you're going to have enough range of motion in the torso to get any posing done that you want to do. The legs are the same as the other Mega Man figures aside from Vile. So they have this cool little cup piece that goes up with them, and it really hides the articulation, at least from the front. From the back, not so much, but it does look good from the front, so I like that. It goes out to the side, forward, back, all around. Thigh swivel built in, double jointed knee, just like the hand, and just like the forearm. The boots are swappable with other Mega Man figures as well. And those just pop in and out. They don't stay in as well on this original Zero. Now, I don't know if that's because he's used and not in the best condition, even though he's pretty much mint, or if it's just because they didn't put him on that tight. And then lastly, we have the ankle articulation, which is a double ball peg with a ball hinge. So you can really rotate the foot however you want to. And even with these big old feet, you can get the ankles articulated way better than most normal figures, so you won't have any trouble posing this guy or getting him to stand. And he's just a really cool figure. The paintwork on him is pretty much perfect. The one thing that does bother me, and this is my biggest complaint for the figure, the shoulders and the crotch piece, they look like they've been yellowed, like, you know, sat out in the sun or something, but they're not. That's just the way they come. The hands are way brighter. I mean, not way brighter, but it's noticeable in person. The head is a little bit brighter, and the knees and the toes are just a little bit brighter, but these three are noticeably darker. They're just kind of like an off-white, which is a little irritating, but you get used to it pretty quick, so it's not that big of a deal. It's just something to note. So he is definitely a really cool figure, and I do recommend you get him if you like Mega Man figures. If you're collecting the line, you should probably grab at least one Zero. This one, I think, is cheaper than Type 2 at this point, so you might want to grab this one. He's still definitely a good figure. Excuse me. So go ahead and pick him up, guys. Keep an eye out for the comparative review with all of the Mega Man figures from D-Arts, minus a couple of the exclusive X figures that I never had a chance to buy that cost too much and I don't really care for. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting. Look at his face.